Okay, this is question number 15 from 2.4, and they are, giving us the number of analog movie screens in two different dates. So it says in 2008, there were 33,170 analog movie screens, and then by 2012, that number dropped to 6,394. I guess the implication is that all these movie screens went digital. So it says, find the change in the number of analog movie screens from 2008 to 2012. So they just want to know, well, what's the difference? You know, if it started at a number of 33,170 analog movie screens and then went all the way down to 6,394, how much did it change by? That's question A, right? So you can think of this in two ways, I suppose. Generally, when you're finding the difference in something, the amount of change, you want to start with the final value minus the initial value, right? So like in this case, the final value ended up being the 6,394. And the initial value was 33,170. If you do it this way, you should get the correct sign. Let's see, it was 6,394 minus 33,170. We get negative 26,776. This will work. This is the amount of change. Notice that it's negative, and the reason why we have a negative value there is that the amount of change is negative, right? It started at 33,000. It's going down. It went down by almost 27,000 movie screens. So the fact that it went down is indicated by the negative sign. Now, if you stick with the final minus initial, final meaning where did it end up, initial meaning where did it start, so ended up being 6,394 less where it started, 33,170. If you do in that order, you should always get the right sign. The other way you can do this problem is, it's simple enough. It's just find the difference, right? You don't necessarily have to worry about the order. Just find the difference. But then remember, when you get this value, you want to plug in a negative number, right? Because we want to indicate the fact that the change is going down. If we put positive 26,000, it indicates that the amount of change was positive, went up, but it didn't, it went down, right? So you just want to make sure you have the negative sign there. Now, B says find the average change per year in the number of analog movie screens over this period. All right. So, in this math class a little bit, and then for sure in future math classes, we'll talk a lot about the word slope. And slope is just the word that's given to describe what this looks like graphically. Anytime you see the word average, change, you're talking about slope. But in this case, we don't necessarily care about what the graph looks like. We just got to figure out what it actually is. Now, in order to do this, you see the word average change per year. It's going to be a fraction, or at least you can think of it as a fraction. And it's always something per something. Now, you want the first thing on top, right? And in this case, analog movie screens. So we want the analog movie screens. I'll just put screens on top. And then it says per what? Well, we're talking about analog movie screens. What will be the number of screens per year, right? We're talking about a rate, whatever the per piece is, that's what always goes on the bottom. So we want screens per year. So the way to do this problem is to just find the difference in each of these values. Oops, move this. Now, we already figured out how many screens, or what the amount of change was in the screens, right? We have the final value of 6,394. That's where it ended up, and that was in 2012. Right. We're going to subtract the initial value where it started. It was 33,000. Oops. I gotta make some more room here. 33,170. Right. So we're finding a difference in the screens per, talking years. So that's this 6,394 was 2012, and we're doing minus the year corresponding to the 33,170. Well, that was 2008. Now, if we simplify this, we already got the top, right? The top we did already in part A. That was this number here. The bottom 2012 minus 2008 should give you 4. So basically what this means is, over the course of 4 years, it changed by this much. So if we want the average change per year, we just need this as a simplified fraction. Or if it allows you to write it as a decimal. In this case, it doesn't specify, but in this case, if you can try it in the calculator. If it doesn't specify, it means it probably doesn't matter. But the fact that this is divisible by 4, it truly doesn't matter. Consider the difference between something like a third, which you really can't write as a decimal without rounding, right? You got to stop somewhere. Versus a number divisible by 4 like this, right? That's just 0.25, and that's all it is. So in this case, since it's being divisible by 4, it doesn't matter if you write it as a decimal or a fraction. But I would say always be careful to pay attention. It might ask for decimals. It might ask for fractions in the directions. So let's see. If we do this, we have to divide that into 4 equal parts. We're just simplifying this fraction here. We get negative 6,000. And that was simply by dividing the top and the bottom by 4. Really, you just divide the 26,776 by 4, and it simplifies to this number. Okay, so if it was 26,776 TVs over the course of 4 years, we can say each year we saw a change of negative 6,694 screens per year. Right, so hopefully that helps. If you have any further questions, let me know. Thank you. Take care. Bye.